Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to today's webinar entitled Investing as a Lifestyle, brought to you by Bursa Malaysia High in partnership with Equities Tracker. Today we have here Encik Nazari Rosli with me. Orang kata ni otai dalam pasaran saham ni. And we are really glad to have you here to talk about why investing is very important in our financial planning and also in our life in general. And we have to cultivate the habit of investing at any point of time. In fact, the younger we start, the better it is for an investor or even for a person to manage finances. So in this webinar, we will share with you why investing in the stock market is very important. We will also show you later on, Nazari is here to share about Sharia investing as well. And we see why Sharia investing is not only open for Muslims, but it's also open for everyone. But before we start, we're going to take a poll. We're going to ask you a question about, do you think investing is important? And have you already started investing? So the poll will come up on your screen in a short while. Please do participate so that we can see how many of you are actually really investing, or have you not started investing? Short while. Let's go on to our webinar today. And the first topic that we want to cover is basically the importance of investing. Now, I want you to see this picture here. We have been, prices have been rising, okay, and we have been paying very high prices at the moment, despite salary not increasing that much. For example, I don't know, maybe we can look even at 20 or 30 years before, what was the price of roti canai? But 10 years ago, roti canai was about 1 ringgit and is now about 1 ringgit and 80 cents. So that's about an 80% jump in just 10 years. If you compound it on an annual basis, the prices of roti canai has been rising about 6% a year. And same thing goes today was about 1 ringgit and 20 cents 10 years ago, and it's now 2 ringgit. So, I mean, Encik Nazari, remembers the times when roti canai prices were in 30 years ago? What was prices then?
I can't remember, but I believe, I can get something good for, let's say, simple breakfast for just one ringgit.
For a breakfast?
Breakfast.
Okay, I'll show you the reason why. So the next slide, we look at the figures here. We show the money supply, and we all know that money is being supplied by bank negara to the market. And when there is more money coming to the market, the money becomes diluted, and therefore its value falls. So if we look at the prices or the money flow, money being supplied about 40 years ago, it has actually increased 203 times. And if you compare about 10 years ago, money supply has been up 2 times, and that gives about a 7.8% increase on a yearly basis. And that basically shows that the value of our ringgit goes down 7% every year. And that explains also why roti canai prices has also gone up 6% and 5% every year. And that's because money supply is declining. So what's going to happen with your money today? If you have 50,000 ringgit, for example, what will happen in 10 years' time? You'll be surprised that 50,000 that you have now, in 10 years, we got 7% inflation, because I have shown you the figure earlier that our money supply keeps on increasing about nearly 8% a year. So 50,000 now will only be about 24,000 ringgit in 10 years' time. And that's almost half, isn't it?
Yeah.
So what do you think about inflation? Is it really hitting everybody?
The figure looks very scary to everyone, I suppose. And then we have to do something. We have to do something about it. I think one of the best way that what we want to share for tonight is about how investing can help everyone to beat this inflation, is it? Through investing.
So I think that's the problem now, isn't it? Because we have been taught to by our parents to work well, get a good education, and then work and save money. So I mean, if you were to put that money which you're saving, right, and you put 50,000 ringgit now, and you do not get interest, the money is going to be only 24,000 10 years later. Am I right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, obviously, we are not going to put the money. For example, like last time beli ya, bawa dalam apa bantal bawa apa ni. But so we have to make the money work hard for us and make sure that investment or whatever we do should beat the inflation rate. That's how I look.
So I think people in general normally would not know that this is the figure that we are looking at, and they think that by saving enough money in the bank or under their pillow, it will be safe. But I think if you don't make 7% a year from the money, then the money is basically being diluted and is not much of a value again in the future.
Yes.
And that's one of the reasons why investing is very important. And I know a lot of people will think that investing is difficult, but we're going to give you some steps later on to see how you can start investing.
Yeah.
Now, the second reason for the importance of investing is we also need to plan for our retirement, isn't it?
Oh
Nazari?
yes. That's very much true. Like in my personal case, I already reached the age of 55. So I'm into semi-retirement now, and I believe with all the investment activities that I've been doing all this while, is helping me a lot to look forward for, a good retirement.
A better retirement.
Uh,
So if you look at the statistics that are being shown, this was an article that was published in the Star just a few months ago. This is based on EPF. I think a lot of employees, a lot of people are basically relying on their EPF savings for their retirement. But if you look at the figures, it's quite scary actually. EPF have actually set a minimum of EPF fund that you must have before you retire, and that is about 228K to sustain you probably about 20 to 30 years. But we only have a minimum of about 13% of those, 18% of those actually achieving that numbers by 2021. So that's a very small number, right?
Yes.
And it's only less than the number of investors actually have less than 50K is quite a lot. So and the 70% will finish their EPF savings in 10 years after retirement, after not getting any more income. So that shows that EPF is actually not enough, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not. It's definitely not enough. So every one of us, so like I'm giving the opportunity now for the young guys, right, to be fully aware that they have to do something on their own. And in fact, a lot of us now, the young generation, they are not even working in a situation where they might be contributing to EPF, for that matter. So they really have to look into investing as probably one of the best vehicle for them for their future retirement and having a comfortable life after the age of 55, 60, towards their
Retirement.
retirement.
Right. I'm going to show you also one more fact. The third fact, and why importance of investing is that we always want to plan for holidays. We want to have a better lifestyle. Maybe even drive nice cars. Go and travel here and there. But if you look at the figures that we show you in the next slide, now here, based on Bank Negara's statistics, we actually have a total debt to GDP ratio of 88.4%. This is the household debt. That means if I'm earning 10 ringgit, but I actually owe 88 ringgit, right? So I only have maybe 1 or 2 ringgit left for my savings. So the debt is very high, right? And I think one of the problem is, because of lifestyle, people wants to have, buy nice phones, nice cars, everything it is good right now, and a lot of people has gone into debts instead of investment. So we really have to look at this very seriously, because we
Yes.
do not want to, when we retire and we take out the money from EPF and pay debts, right? I think that's what a lot of people have been doing as well. A lot of people have retired, actually used EPF money to fund their children's education, buy a house for them, but without having enough investments or savings to even have a comfortable life later on.
Yes,
So
yes.
I'm sure, Encik Nazari, you are living quite comfortably now. You have been investing for a very long time.
Yeah, inshallah. Uh, Definitely investing in Bursa Malaysia for all this while. I mean, of course, there's ups and downs in investing. The market goes out, the market come down, but over a long period of time, if we are really investing in a proper way, in the proper approach, there's a way that we can make the money grow. I mean, for a long time,
For a long term.
for a long term, yeah.
So I think the first thing that we have to look at is on a long-term basis instead of looking on a short-term basis. Now, before we go to the next one, I know that there are a number of hurdles that investors have to go through before they even start investing. And I'm going to show you there are three major hurdles that investors have to go through. But before that, let's take a look at the results of the poll that we have did earlier. And so 82% actually say that yes, investing is important, and they are already an investor.
Wow,
So
very good.
82%. 18% says that investing is important, but they have not started. So I hope that if you have not invested, it's probably a good time to invest now. I will explain to you later on. And nobody says investing is not important. So I think everybody wants to invest, isn't it?
Yes.
But
yes.
like I said, there are hurdles, there are challenges when we want to become an investor, and that comes to our next point. So there are three reasons why investors find it, or even people find it difficult to start investing. And the first thing is time, right? There are a lot of people who say that I will only start to invest when I have already made money. I think you probably have a lot of people talking to you like that as well, right? Get money first, make money first, then only start to invest. Do you think is a proper way, or should they start investing even now?
I think they should prioritize their what they want. Meaning, as far as time is concerned, the time, especially for the young guys, right now. Let's say we are talking to the young generation. Time is on their side, yeah. But one fine day, time might be running out.
Right.
So for this type of people, as what you are listening to us now, you should be starting investing right now. Yeah, you shouldn't wait. Time doesn't wait us.
Right. I'm sure there are a lot of, you have been training, you have been providing seminars and all that. I'm sure a lot of people have been saying that I should have started investing much earlier. Not only now when I'm already about to retire, and I'm going to start learning how to invest, and it's probably a little bit too late.
Yeah.
So I think, we're going to come back into that later on, and how you can actually use your time to your advantage. And the second reason, of course, is money. Right. Even today, there are a lot of people who have been working for many years, have gone to managerial level, but they still do not have enough savings.
Okay.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, it's true enough. I think again, the equation, the what everyone should have is not like I will invest whatever left.
Yes.
They should do it the other way around. They should prioritize their income into put aside first some for saving, and then only the rest is for them to take care of their livelihood.
So I think, but that takes a very strong discipline, isn't it?
Oh yes,
And
very much.
to cultivate that kind of habit of savings, because that's the problem now. We have shown you the figure earlier that the household debt is 88% of their income. That means whatever income that most of us will have is probably going to pay debts, right? Maybe properties, for example, or cars, and by the time you pay your credit cards, you don't have anything left, right? And I think that one of the things later on, we're going to show you some of the investing principles that you can use to start investing even right now. And like Nazri has said, if you start investing earlier, it's much better. And there's an old Malay saying, right? Sikit-sikit, lama-lama jadi
Jadi
bukit.
bukit. Yes,
But if
yes,
you
betul.
don't even have sikit and not even start sikit-sikit, you won't even see the bukit at all. You
Yes,
probably see
yes,
longkang lah,
yes, yes, yes.
right?
The essence of it is we have to start somewhere,
Right.
even it's small. Just cultivate the habit of saving, and then obviously we have all these like we are now here about Bursa Malaysia, right? There's a place where like Bursa Malaysia offer everyone the opportunity to to create their own wealth,
Mhm.
their own fortune through proper investing,
Right.
proper investment
Right. And
strategy.
then that comes to the last one. I think one of the problems that a lot of investors do not know how to start is because they do not have enough knowledge, right,
Yeah, okay.
about investment. And I think this is the easiest part to overcome. There are a lot of books that you can read, a lot of
Oh,
seminars that you can go through. A lot of people can actually teach you how to do it. But these are the three main factors. In fact,
yeah.
if you just Google on Google.com, you'll find that what are the problems to investors or to young investors. You'll find that there are three main factors, right? So we're going to take a look at how we can have some of the investing principles so that we can overcome these three,
Yeah,
right?
okay.
But before we do that, we're going to have the second poll, and it's got to do with this, right? So the second question to you is, what is the most difficult hurdle, the most difficult barrier that for you to overcome to become an investor? I've mentioned to you earlier, it was three: time, money, or knowledge.
Knowledge. Yeah.
But which one is the most difficult one? So please do answer that, and we'll come back to the results later on. Look at the results immediately. Right, so 11% says that they do
Wow.
not have time. 32% says not enough money. 57% says that most of them, they do not have the knowledge to do it. So I think this is an important hurdles that we have to actually identify and overcome, because before we can even start investing, we have to overcome these three hurdles. So I'm going to share with you some of the best investing principles. And if you read most of the investing books, or if you ask any successful investor, they would have gone through these hurdles before they become successful.
Yes.
So the first one is time, right? And everybody mentioned, when is the best time to start investing? A lot of them says that you want to wait for a market to crash, or wait for the market to go bullish, or maybe wait until when I get enough money or when I retire, right? And we have discussed earlier that I think the best time to invest is now.
Right now.
Right now, right? In fact, the most successful investor, Mr. Warren Buffett, that says that is the best time to invest is now, and you have to invest in yourself first, right? So investing in time is not just money, but you also need to have time to actually acquire enough knowledge, right? And one of the most difficult thing, because we are also tied up with a lot of things, but we do not have enough time to actually getting ourselves or upgrade ourselves. Do you agree with that? We've seen a lot of people who have nice cars and they spend a lot of time on their cars. A lot of people play games and this kind of stuff, but they do not really try to improve themselves. Do you see that as a Malaysian culture?
What I see is that again, it's about priority. Priority. If they do understand about investing is important for their retirement, for their future, and for having a good time during old age, right? So they should be able. Everyone should be able to allocate some time to acquire all this knowledge. get the right attitude first to invest. And again, we keep mentioning about time is the essence
Right.
on investment. You know, the earlier you invest, the better it is.
Right.
Then only we can beat the system. We can, you know, through we can beat the inflation rate, everything through early investment.
Right.
Early investment, yeah.
So I think this is the secret that I think a lot of multimillionaires and
Mm.
successful businessmen and successful people know, because they do know the importance of investing, right?
Mm.
And we all have actually a choice, right?
Yes, yes.
Whether to be successful or to enjoy life when we retire, or even right now,
Mm.
or we choose to ignore the facts that whatever money that we have now is going to be depleted over
Yeah.
time, right? So we have to accept the knowledge. We have to accept the fact that we should start investing. And like I've said earlier, you don't really need a lot of money to start investing, but you have to just start small
Yeah.
and cultivate the habit,
A habit.
right? And I think it's not really difficult to cultivate a habit if we are practicing it all the time.
Yeah.
It's like brushing the teeth, and
Mm.
I also believe that you have to have mentors to actually help you,
Yes,
to
yes.
actually spank you when the time is right. Because
Mm.
if you still remember, when we were young, we do not know anything, right? When we were small kids, our parents forced us to actually brush our teeth, and
Yeah.
we do not want to brush our teeth, but we keep reminded of brushing our teeth, and it becomes a habit, right?
Yes,
So, and I
yes.
think that that's very important. The mindset has to change first, and like Encik Nazari has mentioned, I think we have a lot of time. It's just a matter of
Priority.
prioritizing your time, so that we are able to at least upgrade ourselves, at least equip ourselves with the necessary knowledge to start investing better, right?
Yeah.
So that is one thing that you have to manage, time. We can't teach you. We can give you the knowledge. We can give you the necessary skills, teach you the necessary skills. But this is something that you have to do it on your own, right? So the next thing will be about money, right? Um, Again, it is also a habit of whether you are able to save enough to invest. Right now, right now we are probably, even if we are businessmen or we are employees, we all have incomes, right? And whatever savings that is has left from the income is whatever expenses that we've gone through. So if we want to increase the savings or investments, two things we can do: increasing the income
Yeah.
or lowering your expenses. And the most easiest part to do is actually lowering your expenses, right? Now it is, so we really have to work on our finances for the additional savings for investments. And if we can't even have this discipline, then really we can't help you. You have to help yourself, right? Because you really need to have money for investments.
Investment.
Okay,
But
so yeah,
sorry.
Nazar, you want to add?
Okay, I would like to add on this matter about income minus expenses equivalent to savings or investment. Uh, through my I'm a certified financial planner as well. You see, probably the best way to tackle this issue is about getting the equation the other way around. It should be income minus saving
Savings.
first. Then whatever left is for expenses. If we do the other way around, income minus expenses, uh, expenses will always gradually, like the Malaysian, besar periuk, besar kerak.
Right.
Meaning the more income we earn also,
The more we
the
spend.
expenses will just come up the same, or even expenses will creeping up, or even to more than income, where that's why we end up with this
Debts.
problem of 80 over percent total household income. I mean, is debt, right?
Yes.
Because of that. So from now on, for me to share with especially the young generation, yeah, please, if ever you want to be successful in your life, in your future life, please change this equation. Is it whatever income that we generate, however small, how big it is, but it should be minus the saving part first.
Right.
The saving part, and then the balance is on
The expenses.
the expenses. Because actually that's what happened in our case of EPF, isn't it? I mean, our income he has to be deducted first.
Right.
And then, okay, probably another thing is that some people who are into having this EPF facility, they might think that it taken care. Yeah,
Right.
I mean,
It's not. It's there.
is there
It's my
already?
future.
It is already there. But I think they should think about to save more. I think like what Japan, in Japan, the Japanese saving rate is very high.
High. Yes.
Is very high, and we can see how comfortable is their life, the Japanese life, and obviously like you mentioned just now, for the Malaysian. Uh, it can be like a time bomb,
Right.
all these borrowings, easy credit card, whatever. I think that the young guys, especially the young generation, they should really handle their financial planning very well.
Yes.
Is
Yeah, so I think we have to put priority on the
priority.
savings first, right? Before
Yes,
we even think about
yes,
expenses.
yes.
So basically have to force ourselves to do it, right? It's like
For saving.
yeah, it's a forced saving. So we already put EPF, and we all know that EPF is not enough. So
Ah,
we really need to have additional more, right?
additional one.
Maybe
Yeah.
let's say you put EPF. We all contribute about 10%
Uh,
for EPF,
uh,
and maybe you will contribute another 10% more or 20% more for investments,
yeah.
right? And
Exactly.
of course, one of the ways to do it is actually to not spend on unnecessary thing, right? Like
Exactly.
buying new phones,
Mm.
changing
No.
clothes all the time, buying branded stuff. I think
Uh,
all those can be actually turned into investments or savings
uh,
you have the discipline to do it. And I
exactly.
think, but that's I think the most difficult thing to do because we have a saying also as Malaysians, we always want to have gaya first, gaya mesti ada, poket kosong tak apa, but
like,
we have to
like,
change that kind of mindset, isn't it?
like the Malay saying lah, biar apa asal asal bergaya.
As a gaya.
Asal
So
bergaya.
that's not a good saying, I think.
That's not a good
Right?
saying.
So yeah, I think we have to really think about our future because investment is not just only for ourselves, but we also have to think about our family, right?
Yeah.
And that's very important. So yeah, so money is something that you can actually manage, and I
Yes,
think Cik
yes.
Nazari has already given very good tips, of putting your savings first before even thinking about expanding. So you save first, for investments or whatsoever, then whatever money left, then you can spend, right?
Yes.
But another important thing is when you spend also, if you not enough money, don't take credit card lah.
No, please, please.
Right? Okay. So now the last part will be the knowledge, right? I think knowledge is the easiest part. I think like maybe 20 or 30 years ago is even more difficult for us to gain knowledge because there were not many books around. There were not many workshops. Bursa Malaysia was not,
Yeah.
giving out free workshops for
Yeah.
investors. But today you have a lot. I mean,
Yes, yes.
Bursa Malaysia is providing, education, investment education
Mm.
for the public. Bursa Malaysia I is providing education to the public in general for the Muslims. So we have a lot of resources now that actually investors can actually learn, right? And I think that we really have to spend time, like Warren Buffett says, we have to actually invest in ourselves,
Oh,
right?
yes, yes,
So
yes.
get some books, attend seminars to equip yourself, and you should start now, right? Do you think that it is better to actually learn now than learning when we are, about 50 or 60-year-old, Nazari?
I mean, yeah. I mean, that could be a bit too late, to acquire all these skills and knowledge. Now we are on the topic about investing, right? So all this knowledge should be acquired as early as possible. The younger you are, the better. And what I would like to share as well is this world now is about knowledge base.
Yes.
Our economy now is about knowledge base, and whatever it is, I was in the generation where there was no internet
Right.
before.
Mine just started.
Okay. Then started. And for this new guys generation now, internet is what they know.
Yeah.
Their life is about internet. And but please, make take good care of yourself. Prioritize yourself again. Internet meaning to me, this Mr. Google. The knowledge is all about what you want to know.
Yes.
You just key in investment principle, whatever it is. is in front of you. It's in front of you. And then now, again, internet things. I mean, nowadays it's not only about having a notebook, a computer, for that matter. Just this handphone is good enough.
Yes.
It's uh, very resourceful. Is the supply of knowledge in our topic tonight is about investing. Yeah, it's all in your hand.
It's all there.
It's all there. You know, again, just Google correctly. Okay, then if you want it that way, like Benny mentioned, Bursa Malaysia, Security Commission, and the brokers also, everybody playing their role to help investors,
Right.
especially the new one.
Right.
The right way to invest, and the skill how to invest. In fact, if some of you all that uh, know the tactic or the technique, yeah, you can even get all this knowledge through free classes, free investment classes, again given by Bursa,
Yes.
for example. I mean, you all just have to be aware and really grab the opportunity.
Right.
Uh,
Right. Yeah, I guess sometimes it's too much information also is not really that good, isn't it? Because we sometimes can divert, right?
yeah.
For example, when we go to Google and search about investing,
Uh,
and then you have so many other information comes in, and then we tend to
uh,
divert into going to something
oh,
else.
okay,
So I
yeah.
think you have to have that discipline to
Yeah.
actually make use of the information. And information can also be good and bad, right?
Yeah.
We have to really look at information very carefully. Because I have two sons, which is now going to the teenage years, and I'll
Mm,
teach them about the importance of getting the information that you
information.
need, but not people feeding you with the information that they think that you must have, right?
Yeah.
When it comes to investing, the same thing, but we really need to learn how to invest and learn how to invest. And the best time is now because the knowledge that we acquire is a lifetime knowledge, right?
Yes,
So it's
yes,
better
yes.
better to start now
Yeah,
rather than
yeah,
start
yeah,
later,
yeah,
because
yeah.
this will help you as we go
Mm,
along in our life, right?
mm,
Um, so this comes to our next poll, because we want to see whether we have taken enough initiative to equip ourselves with the necessary knowledge. Because I think one of the sad thing about being Malaysians in general, because I'm a Malaysian as well, we are all Malaysians, but the sad thing, if you compare ourselves with Singapore, for example, you see that the number of Malaysians reading books are really disappointing. Singaporeans read a lot of books. When you go into the MRT, they read books. A lot of people read books. But you go to the MRT over here, most of them will be on a handphone playing games and so on and so forth. But really, it is all a matter of getting prioritize yourself on getting the right knowledge, right? So the next question, the next poll will be basically to ask yourself whether you have been actually investing in yourself by attending investment courses, or you have read some investment books. So the question to you is, how many times have you attended an investment course or read a book, investment book, in a year, right? So you have not read, or you have 1 to 2 times, 3 to 5, 5 to 10, or more than 10 times. So, and that includes both investment courses and reading investment books. Look at the results.
Oh.
So there are actually 5% who have not actually read any books or attended any seminars. there's 14% who actually read more than 10 books or attended 10 seminars altogether.
Wow.
So we've quite got a mixture over here, right? And you know what? If you really want to be successful, we really need to do at least 10, I think, in my opinion. You know, and it looks like a lot, but it's only like maybe one book a month,
Yeah.
right? And one seminar a month. If you can do this every month, it's already 12 times,
Yes.
right? And not just investment books, but you can also read about personal development, and there are so many good books out there. You know,
Yes.
instead of reading just gossips books, lah, right? So I think we really have to invest in ourselves and really spend some time in investing into books. They are not that expensive. In fact, today you can even get ebooks, which is even more cheaper, right? And investment courses. I mean, Bursa Malaysia has a line of very good workshops, right? And you can just go to Bursa Marketplace, register yourself, and whenever there's an event going on, you know, they will notify you so that you can attend the workshops, and it's around the whole country.
Yeah.
And if not, you can also attend a webinar like this, because you can also learn a lot of things from this kind of webinars, right? So fantastic. Let's go on to the next session. Now we're going to talk about starting the investment habit. But guys, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions, you can just type the questions in the question box down there. You can see, just type any questions that you have now, and we will bring the questions at the last half an hour of this webinar, and we will answer them later. But at any point of time, you can start typing in your questions, right? Now let's go into the next part. We're going to talk about starting the investment habit. How do I start? Right. So here I put a very 5 simple steps from a beginner who do not know what they're doing, and until they become a little bit more successful, and ultimately they want to be able to have financial independence or have enough passive income to sustain their life comfortably into the future, right? So Encik Nazri, you can help me if I go through all the steps. You can help me if you need to have any comments. You can just chip in.
Yes.
All right. Now the first step, right, is to, again, you have to set aside money, right? Like Encik Nazari just mentioned, you know, after getting the income, the first thing that you need to do is to first save for investments. Then you set aside for expenses, you know, paying whatever that you need, but not what you want, right? So that the basic need has to be met first. I think that's a very important step, because without money, you can't start investments. All right?
Yeah.
Do you want to add more for that?
Okay. One thing that I like to share, actually, the habit of from we are child, from we are young, we open a bank account. That's basically for saving purposes.
Right.
But once you reach the age of 18, every one of us can become an investor in Bursa Malaysia. Meaning you open a CDS account and make a habit the amount of money that you want to put aside as investment. Just put that money into the trading account, the CDS account, and by doing that, we can apply the rule of averaging down, dollar cost averaging. In this case, dollar cost averaging. You see, so whether the market is good or the market is bad, we can always accumulate good stocks from time to time. So meaning when the market is down, is it bad? If it's a good counter, that will also mean that the same amount of money that we put in every month, we will get more shares. This is the concept of dollar cost averaging. Is it? So at any time is a good time again to invest in the stock market. But obviously, we do have to select, good counters. We have, not the counters that probably go down the drain. Is it?
That will come to the next step, actually.
Okay.
So, I think it's very difficult to set aside money. If you have, let's say, if you are able to save, let's say 500 ringgit a month, 1,000 ringgit a month, and you can actually buy stocks with 500 ringgit. Yeah. You can buy good companies.
I think most of us already aware that buying shares now is in 100 units, no more like last time. One lot minimum is 1,000 units, and they are in fact even as it now, right? There's a lot of we call penny stocks, cheap but good.
Good companies, yeah.
Good companies. So cultivate that culture of investing. Yeah, even you have 200 ringgit, you can start investing.
Yep, there are
Uh,
still counters. I mean, you can
uh,
even buy REITs or ETF, just below, two
is it
ringgit.
so please be aware about this. That I mean, probably tomorrow, next week, whatever. So every one of you that are listening to this
Yeah.
conversation, go and open a CDS account, and then think about start putting money. To me, even is 100 ringgit. Cultivate the culture
Yes.
of putting money every month, and then start accumulating good stocks for long-term investment,
Yeah.
and to use this the principle of dollar cost
Yeah.
averaging.
Yeah. So dollar cost averaging works on the belief that the market will continue to grow, right?
Oh
In
yeah,
fact,
yeah.
in the Malaysian market, companies will just keep on making money. They will just keep on growing in the long term,
Yes.
right? And of course, in the short term, we have that volatility of price going up or going down. But if you are able to accumulate them, for example, on a monthly basis, so we are applying the dollar cost averaging method. We can accumulate at different prices. So we buy high prices, we buy low prices, but we average out the price. But this average in the long term will keep on increasing in the future. And that is what we have to believe and to understand. And this is how market works, because if
Yes.
the market don't grow, then we will not have a market, right? And companies will not want to invest. Why do I want to invest? And Malaysia being just an emerging economy, right? We are not even developed fully yet, right? There's still a long way, a long road to move before we can even become a industrialized nation, and that actually has a lot of opportunity.
Yeah,
Right?
like Benny mentioned, we're talking about the growth story. It's still a long way
It's still a long way.
we are very fortunate, to live in this country, Malaysia. Yeah,
Yeah.
we have a long way to go.
Yes.
I mean, if I were during my young days, looking at, if you see the Bursa index itself, I mean, over a long period of time, it's all the way up. It's all the way up.
It keeps on going historical high. Historical high.
Of course, there will be some ups and downs.
Yeah.
There'll be so-called, well, I mean, 10-year cycle or whatever. Yeah. But for some people, in fact, what I can share, this so-called cycle crisis, is an opportunity
Yes.
To long-term investors, people that have extra money. In fact, they are looking forward to buy more.
Because that's when the market goes into a discount.
To big discount.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think for the start, if you do not know what you're doing, I think the best way is to do the dollar cost averaging. The idea is to cultivate that habit
Yes.
of basically forced saving from your income and start investing. Because even if you can't do that, then it's going to be very difficult for you to become a successful investor.
Exactly.
Right? So now step number 2, of course, is now that I'm able to set aside for investments, what companies can I invest, right? And the easiest way to identify companies you can invest is actually in front of us. For example, right, electricity. Who provides electricity? Tenaga Nasional. Are they going to go bankrupt? No. Are they going to make more money? Yes, because as population grows, the more customer base, they will grow and they will never go bankrupt, right? And they are the only one that provides electricity.
Yeah.
So what can go wrong, right? There are a lot of other things, even like your mobile phones, for example, right? Companies like, for example, Maxis, or even Telecom themselves,
Yeah.
right? And these are companies that may not go bankrupt or will not go down in the short term, because they are all there in the long run. And this, if you look at the share prices and the performances in the long run, most of them are going up, right?
Yeah.
They are all in front of us. In fact, the drink that we drink, Milo, for example, who sells Milo? It's Nestle, right?
Maggie, for that matter.
Maggie is under Nestle. So many things are under Nestle, even the milk, all this kind of stuff. And do you think that people will stop drinking Milo when times are bad? Milo has become like a national Malaysian drink, right?
Yeah.
And I heard a lot of Koreans actually like Milo.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I was quite surprised as well.
Uh,
Anyways, it's in front of us, things that we always see and we always consume, that that it's going to be there for a long term. That's the first, the best way to start finding these companies, right? For example, you're going to fly, and if you continue to fly Asia, for example, right? And instead of just paying for the tickets, now if you're an investor for Asia and you buy the tickets, you're actually paying yourself.
Yeah. So Benny, you are suggesting that we are buying
No, I'm not suggesting anything.
insurance.
I'm just basically showing you that opportunities are
Yes,
actually
actually,
around us,
it's around us.
right? Even the shirts we wear, you have to find out who are the companies that are actually selling this stuff. You have
Exactly.
companies like Padini,
Mm.
and so on and so forth. We have Bonia and so on. So the first thing is to you have to find good companies that you understand. It is
Yeah.
not a very complicated thing, a business. I mean, selling Milo or selling milk, right? It's not really a complicated business, right?
Yeah.
And we know that as population grows bigger, more people will consume this kind of stuff. Yeah. Fine. So Warren Buffett also once says that you want to invest in a company, invest in a company that you understand.
Yes, yes.
So if you look at the companies that Warren Buffett invests, there are companies that consumer products mostly, right? Like Coca-Cola, right? Like Gillette, candies and so on. There's so many companies, but most of them are basically consumer because he understands the company, right?
I mean, it's kind of so meaning we can even say investing is quite a common sense thing. Common sense, I'm investing in companies that I myself is the very consumer,
Yes.
isn't it? Like you mentioned, if we put down what we as a person been using
Yes.
from the very we wake up in the morning, just like Warren Buffett mentioned. I'm not to worry because everybody going to shave.
Yes.
Okay, I'm not shaving at the moment, but everybody is shaving. So in Malaysia version, okay, I think you all can Google what Warren Buffett portfolio is all about. So what does he have in America? Actually, is the same. It's the same thing that we have over here.
Right.
Yeah. The only thing that I can hear everyone going to say, look, are you talking about Nestle? Is very expensive now. The share price is very expensive. You're talking about Tenaga is very expensive. Yes, that's become already a core holding to like institution. So what about us? I mean the small time
Right.
investor. So I've been sharing with the public as well about the concept about investing. When we mentioned about Warren Buffett, it's more about value investing. Yeah. I believe there is another approach of investment which is called growth investing. For some young guys, you have a long time, you have a lot of time on your side. So probably this is the time that you look forward. What can be the next Nestle? What can be the
The next
next
catalyst, the
the
next
next
growth.
the next goal? I mean, in the Bursa, I believe there is.
Yes.
I believe there is. So it's about what Warren Buffett said. We have to understand. We have to understand about what's the economy is all about. What about us as a consumer is going to consume? No. Before this, we are not even a consumer to uh, to this mobile phone, isn't it?
Yes.
It's also quite a new thing.
Yes.
So will that be something new in the future? The answer is obviously. So for the young guys, your I mean, your antenna on investment should be very sharp. Should be very sharp for the next things for the next economy.
And you can only get that kind of knowledge if you keep on educating yourself,
Yes,
investing yourself, learning more things, right?
exactly.
So that's why you need to cultivate that kind of habits.
Cultivate, yes.
But it also boils down on setting up portfolios and a very balanced portfolio so that you will not risk all your money is something that is very risky. But we're not going to discuss this in this session because we have a lot more sessions coming on in the following months. Please bear with us. We'll send you the details later on of where you can attend the webinars. But the easiest thing is to actually look for things that are in front of us, because the fact that we use a particular brand tells you that you have trust that brand.
Yes,
Right?
exactly.
And then if you trust that brand, then you should be investing in a company that sells you
Exactly.
that brand. That's the first thing to do, right? Whether it's expensive or not, when there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah.
Right? You need to find ways. Again, if you are able to save enough, and start to invest, definitely you are able to buy these kind of counters. In fact, if you want to buy Warren Buffett company, the Berkshire Hathaway, that's going to cost you about 600,000 over US dollars. I mean, who can afford, right?
Yeah.
There's only one share. Okay, but again, it's all about getting that habit first, right? Before you even see the big things, right? So for the start, we look for good companies, and then we can also now narrow down. Maybe you got 10 companies that you want to invest in, for example, right? And from that 10 companies, then you have to look at the company's financials, whether they are doing very well. And you know what? You can actually find all this information at Bursa Marketplace. You can actually go to Bursa Marketplace, and you can search. You can do a filter, actually find companies that pay good dividends and so on and so forth, right? And you can actually find companies like this. Right? We're not going to go down into the very much details about how you can make it better, because that will be a step number 5. You keep on equipping with ourselves with the necessary knowledge and skills. For example, Encik Nazari, you and I, we have been also using about price analysis to actually increase our performance of our investments, right? But we're not going to talk about it here because that will come into the later webinars, right?
Okay, so I'd like to share on this step number 3. Narrow down your search by looking at the company's financial. Put it in a simple layman terms. We just have to invest in the company that making money.
Yes.
We cannot, as simple as that, we cannot invest, so-called invest in company that losing money. This one also I like to share a little bit. Okay, myself, I'm a broker, and my way of doing the business is I still accept new guys, newcomers, new investor to the market. Yeah, for some reason, these people, they are just wanted to buy companies with the share price which is the cheapest.
Right.
Because
they can buy more.
This is the idea. They can buy more, cheapest, but that is not the correct way. Obviously, normally, again, was it about Warren Buffett mentioned? Good things, no cheap. Cheap things, no good. So please do not have this approach. To me, it's definitely not the right approach by buying the cheapest stocks in town, in Bursa. Yeah, that's not the way, because it defy the logic of your investing in a good company. Their financial definitely is not good.
Yes.
So please, whatever you want to invest, because I still believe, it's still there. I mean, I'm not going to mention stocks name, but there's still a lot of stocks which is below 1 ringgit or even below 50 cent, but the company is making money, doing very well.
So that's just for you to find out and have that skill to actually find this company,
and
right?
actually, it's quite simple if you know the way. What's your book? KISS.
Keep investment simple.
Keep investment simple. It works.
So really, we have to look at the financials, and like Mr. Nazare says, we have about 900 over companies in Bursa Malaysia, and definitely there are 1 or 2, probably more, good companies that you can actually find which is price is way below its value.
Exactly.
So step number 4, once you have done that, once you have identified the company and you have identified that the company is doing very well, then you can start investing with the money that you have saved. Right? And like, you can always start with dollar cost averaging, where you just buy every month when you get the money, buy good companies, because they are there for the long run. You will not be able to lose the money. Because Warren Buffett says, the first rule in investing is not to lose money, right? And the second rule is to follow the first rule, right? And that can only happen in the long run, because if you buy in a good company, this company will stand will stand the test of time, and they will grow in the long run, right? So start that, but you have to start investing in the companies on a monthly basis, and once you have gotten more income, at least you know what to do with your money now.
Exactly.
When you have that kind of habit. So step number 5, like we have mentioned, you have to keep on educating yourself, because there are many ways, there are many skills that you can use to increase your performance. Right? You buy a stock, for example, how do you pick a stock? There are many ways, right? Whether it's charting, we have the Ken Slim method by Bill, opportunity. There are many ways, okay? But you have to start first, because if you don't even start now, there's no way you're going to learn all these higher end stuff, because you will not be prepared for it, right? So I think that we'll keep at that, and these are the 5 steps that we have to do. In fact, I've applied this myself. I've started when I was very young. I wouldn't started investing even for my kids. Whatever, at Chinese, we always receive ang pao every year, right? So I'll normally gather the ang pao. Instead, I give them some money again for some, they are kids, they have to buy some toys and all that. But I'll use their money to buy some shares, and I'll ask them what they want to buy. And they seem to be buying Pavilion REITs. I'm not promoting Pavilion REITs, because we always go to Pavilion, right? And you know that it's always vibrant and a lot of people. You can actually buy a REIT, right? If you like to go to Sunway, for example, then you can buy Sunway REIT. And at least when you go and shop there, you're paying yourself. And you can tell your friends, you know what, I own Sunway, or I own Pavilion, or I own whatever REITs they're investing in. So I think that's the mindset that we have to actually change if you have not started investing. But if you already start investing, because we have seen the results earlier, about 50% has already started investing. Keep yourself educated, increase your performance by getting more skills and knowledge, so that you are able to keep on increasing your returns for a better, comfortable future. Right?
Okay, I like to add to this. The only thing about this Bursa, Bursa Malaysia, investing in the stock market, there's always two problem of it, because when we're talking about stock market, it's always going up and down, making and losing, is it? That's become like a game by itself. Even like Malay, we always like to say main saham.
Main saham, yes.
Instead of melabo,
yes.
We just use the word main saham.
Yes.
But please, yes, that can be just a little bit part of it. Market timing, using, like you said, technical analysis, whatever. But before you go to that level, before anybody wants to go to that level of trading, but please get yourself equipped, educate yourself on, the very keyword is on investment approach.
Right. The mindset has to be
yes, the mindset must be not to play, not to play the share, not to play the market, because the market might play us back. That's happened. I mean, if you are young, you're talking about me as an uncle, the market can be just very nasty. We want to play the market will play us back. You want to mine saham, the saham will mine us back. So come back to what we are here tonight is about promoting the correct way of investing, the right approach of investing. And investing is about long term. Investing in the right company is about to make sure our saving is on the right track. Investing in good companies, like we know, the company must be making money. The problem is we want to invest our money. We want our money to grow, but for whatever reason, we invest in a company that losing money. Does it make sense?
No,
it doesn't make sense. And nowadays, if anything that let's say now you're asking, so how do I know the company make money or not? Wow, the answer is very simple. The financial part of it is there. I mean, it's at the fingertips. We can know this company is making money or not.
Those figures don't lie.
Those figures don't lie, and the share price also don't lie.
So I think a lot of people, because they get information from somebody else, they don't really go and look at the facts again, right? So
last time it's all about tips.
Yes.
At the end of the day, tips is about tipu.
Tips
is about getting the story about the stock price at the tips. At the tips or the then you get kena, then you feel bad. I mean, but obviously it's not because of what, it's just because of it's a wrong approach.
I think as investors, because we have information now, all of us as investors has to be really data driven, right? Not tips or not
no,
rumors or
not rumors
whatsoever.
driven. No.
It has to be data, because those numbers can't lie, right? And
Yeah.
you can check the facts today. It's easy. You just go to Bursa Marketplace, for example. You can have those financial figures there and
Oh,
see whether they're making money or not.
That's why, please. I mean, I've been in the market since I was 20 over. I mean, I was 20 plus. Uh, it's a long way. I mean, more than 30 years
Right.
in the market. I mean, we used to just play the market.
Right.
Buy any speculative stocks, buy anything that come around. Listen to here and there. Being frank to you all, this is definitely not the way. This is definitely not the way to invest in the stock market.
Right.
You see, but so is there a way? Is there a correct way to invest? Yes, the answer is definitely yes. And is it easy? Is it easy? Actually, it's as simple as investing should be common sense.
Yes.
You see, how common sense is that? Common sense? Common sense meaning just make sure we are buying a good company with a good track record, and they keep making money, and like
The business that you can understand.
you understand meaning. The best part about in the business that we understand is we are the very consumer.
Yes.
That's among the key words about investing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people forgotten as well that when they buy a share, they're actually a shareholder of a company.
Shareholder.
They're co-owners of a company, but people tend to forget about that. Like you said, the word play is becoming the word that people use now in investing in the stock market. Well, yeah, that's so. If you have started investing, even if you have somewhere in the middle investing and still struggling, if you keep on cultivating this habit and you have the hunger for knowledge, I can guarantee you that you will be successful. Maybe not like Warren Buffett, if you all want to be like Warren Buffett. In fact, we don't need to be Warren Buffett, right? If we can only take just like 0.0000001% of what he's doing, we are fantastic. We are really successful, right? Now, please keep those questions coming. If you have any questions that relates to the investing, and or whether it's pointed to myself or Encik Nazari, or is it just a general question, and we'll bring the questions up in a short while. But we're going to go to the last part of the session today, which is about Sharia investment, Sharia-compliant stocks. So I actually have an experience on Sharia investment asset classes. I've actually bought takaful, right?
Okay.
Insurance using on my car at first, and now I'm using it also for my properties. And I've discovered, to my surprise, that one of the years, in fact, about 2 or 3 years, when they were making more profits than they were expected, they actually returned those profits back to the investors, to the policy holders. And I was quite surprised, and that's because of the Sharia principle. And when it comes to stock investment, and I think a lot of I have a lot of Muslim friends as well who mentioned to me that stock investment is not for them because it is against their teaching. Maybe they're too they're too so-called holy or whatsoever. But what do you think about investing on a Muslim perspective?
Okay. Yes. I mean, let's say it used to be that. Sorry to say, I mean the word main saham.
Again, the main saham, yeah.
Main saham is like haram.
Yes.
The mindset of the Malay, the Muslim, is that is like serupa. It's just about like gambling, like going to genting.
Right.
It used to be
that was the impression.
That was the impression long time ago, but I believe nowadays that's not the case anymore. The only thing is that if there is such that kind of mindset mentality, obviously we have to say it's wrong. It's wrong. Meaning investing in a Sharia way. Bursa is providing. Because nowadays, like let's say you don't know whether this counter is Sharia or not. Yeah. That's not the case anymore.
Yes.
That's not the case anymore because we can just detect, we know that this counter is Sharia. Okay, in the very first place, for that matter, when we open a CDS account, we can always choose to open a conventional account, in this case, a Sharia account, Islamic account.
Right.
So at the very beginning, we as let's say new investors, will be helped by the broking firm. They will ask us, do you want to invest and do you want to open account in the Sharia counters only or just conventional? So, and then that's the first step. Example, yeah. So the step number two is, oh, now I open a Sharia counter. Again, the system is by default helping the people that who have chosen to invest only in Sharia counter. Even if we are wrongly key in a counter that it is not Sharia, the system will not allow
Not allow you to trade.
not allow for us to buy,
Right.
to buy and sell. So again, the system is there to help the Muslim lah, the
Right.
Muslim, yeah. But again, like Benny mentioned, it is the case nowadays that for the non-Muslim, probably their main concern is not like the Muslim. Muslim is about halal haram, yeah. For them, the non-Muslim is about performance. I believe they are more into performance.
Right.
So in many cases, the takaful things, in our case, Bursa Malaysia, 70 over percent counters is Sharia counter, and in fact, the best part that we discussing yesterday, their performance even better. Can be even better.
The performance, actually, the funds performance, right? Investing in Sharia compliance are better than the conventional ones. But we're not going to talk it here because that will be our next session.
Okay, we keep
But
it.
it is as an as a Muslim, is investing important.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, even what I can quote, what I can quote from the Quranic version. We always quote this thing about 7 good years, 7 bad years, yeah. So even in the Muslim Islam perspective, meaning God asks us to invest all the time, especially the funny part about like you said, when should I invest? Should I invest in my good time or my bad time? In fact, in Islam itself, we have been asked to invest during bad time, you know, uh, and because we have to be ready when the bad times come. So no, sorry. I mean, you invest in bad time, you invest in good time. Okay, then let's say during the good time, uh, this is about the concept about saving. Yeah, again in Islam, we are saying that once we receive income or whatever, we are not going to use all. Just use like Benny mentioned just now, for the needs, just for the needs of our livelihood. Yeah,
not the luxuries.
And not the luxuries. Meaning what? The balance we should keep. We should keep in terms of saving. Yeah, in our case, of course, we are promoting investing, the right investment way to increase our wealth, especially for our old age, or for the good time during the old age.
So in Bursa Malaysia Sharia, how they define a Sharia stock is that the stock has to go through a series of filters based on Sharia principles, so that particular company is not investing in majority on those sinful products that is defined by the Muslims, right? And these are basically safe for Muslims to invest for the Sharia compliant. Like Nazari has mentioned, more than 70% actually of stocks in Bursa Malaysia are Sharia compliant. In fact, to further expand what Nazari has said earlier, because when I look at my portfolio, to my surprise, that actually 90% of the stocks in my portfolio are Sharia compliant, right? And those 10% of stocks is, I don't even know whether they're Sharia compliant or not. But that shows that, the Sharia compliant filter that they have gone through has actually performed quite well. And like I said, if you want to know how these funds perform, please come back to our next webinar again, right? So if you want to know whether that particular stock or company is Sharia compliant or not, again, you go to Bursa Marketplace, search for the company, for example, that you see there on the screen. If I search Tenaga Nasional, for example, and you can see at the red circle there, it will show you whether it's Sharia compliant or not. So if it's Sharia compliant, that means this particular company is meets the Sharia.
Okay, yeah, I mean,
privacy.
so put it this way. If for investor like asking, yeah, asking themselves, or no, you can ask us, yeah. Okay, so I have a problem to choose which counter is Sharia or not. No, 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 there's not a problem at all because I mean, Bursa, SC has done their job
Yep.
for us. If
They've
that's the
already
case,
identified.
they already identify. In fact, the best part of it, first end-to-end Sharia investing platform, yeah, it also mean that the moment you have start your first right step of opening account,
The Sharia
a Sharia account, Islamic account, yeah. So meaning from there on, you will be helped. The system will help you not to make a mistake at all. Because the moment you want to key in what, let's say we say it, you key in Genting for whatever reason, you wrongly key in Genting. There's no way that the system will allow
you to buy.
to buy. You see, so I think it's definitely not an issue at all. Then okay, the issue number two, yeah. Is Sharia counter performing or not? Again, we have answered just now. So is it? In fact, it can even perform better.
Yeah.
So what else do we want? Yeah.
So yeah, we'll come back to the next webinar and we will explain to you by facts, not just by saying so by whatever people say, but we'll show you the facts and figures that how these companies who are Sharia compliant are better than most of their other companies which are not Sharia compliant.
Probably we can highlight, on the next session, the performance of Sharia counters.
Yes.
For that matter, probably we're going to share on our next session.
Right.
So at least people will know, like Benny said, it is not just about saying it out. It is a fact.
Yes.
We can show the fact.
Yes.
The performance.
That will happen in the next webinar.
Yeah.
So yes, we're going to come to an end of webinar. I hope that you are able to learn a few things from us today, especially when it comes to setting up investment into your lifestyle, because you have to cultivate that habit of investing into as part of our life, right? Like I said, you have no choice, right? We know the fact that our money is not going to sustain in the long run. We know the fact that we have to invest and make a return of more than the inflation rate, which is probably about 7 to 8%. And if we don't do that, we are just basically being ignorant of the fact, and we are choosing a path to destruction, right? Not be able to retire comfortably and not be able to having a real good life. So we really have to start investing, right? And it has to be in a lifestyle. The reason why we name it investing as a lifestyle is because most of the rich and successful people has used investing into their lifestyle.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So we're going to come to an end to this webinar, but we're going to have another 15 minutes to answer your questions. If you still have questions, please put in there. I'm going to read the question out so that either myself or Encik Nazari will be able to answer them.
Okay.
All right, so let's take a look at the first question. How many books should I read a year? I think we have already given you an answer earlier. It's better if you can read a book at least once a month. That's the best way. If you don't read, then just go to a seminar, attend a seminar, so that the reason why we want to do this is because we want to have that habit of investing in ourselves. Not just investing in stocks, but we also have to invest in ourselves. Now, then maybe this one you can answer. How do you differentiate between value investing and technical analysis?
Okay, the main things, the main answer to that, yeah. Value investing is about picking up stocks which are fundamental, meaning the company is making money. And the approach of Warren Buffett, yeah, on value investing is this concept of margin of safety, is it? Buying $1 company at 50 cents, is it? There's the concept of value investing. Yeah.
Buying when the price is below its value.
Below its value. When will it come? And for which kind of company? Again, the answer is we have to buy a solid company that making money, but because of the market is up and down, so any times that it used to be like last few months, isn't it? I mean, the market was down, so a lot of good companies stocks even goes down, and the value investing approach is really workable at that time, because by now all this value investing concept that we do during that time is already proven making money by now. Okay, so now the next question is about
Technical analysis.
technical analysis. I am very much a chartist as well, you see. But in terms of technical analysis, some people just think the concept about trading, short-term trading, using technical analysis to help them to do market timing. Yeah, correct. True enough. A lot of the tools, the analysis, the indicators will lead us to do a lot of buying and selling for short term. Yeah, that helps a lot. But at the same time, there is a certain approach, even using technical analysis for investing. In fact, it's so simple for some people that who knows me well. They will know which approach of technical analysis that I'm using. Yeah, so-called using a technical analysis approach, but for fundamentally for fundamental peak. You see, I'm using technical analysis, but for fundamental picks. There is, okay, let's say I mentioned it here. I'm using like this simple moving average concept. Yeah. So for the lame person out there, it's as simple as this. When we discuss about the company that making money, for sure the company price
Will go up.
will go up.
Yeah.
You see? And in terms of technical analysis, we call it uptrend. Is it? Okay, of course, there is a daily fluctuation, but over a period of time, when that company have a good fundamental, that company share price will move up along the way.
Right.
And it will trading this so-called a bit technical, yeah, trading above simple moving average of 200 days or 50 days, yeah. That's how I
Right.
put it. So technical or fundamental can be the same thing. Yeah,
I
technical.
think what you're saying is you can actually use the price action itself, which is
Well, yeah,
technical, to confirm with the fundamentals of the performance
exactly,
of the company's
yeah. That's the
performance.
best way. Let's say for your benefit, for the people that are listening to us tonight, yeah, there is the one benefit that I like to share with you all. Yeah, so investing, make sure we invest in the right company that making money, and for that reason, the common sense of it, the company share price will move up
Yeah. Okay.
in the long term. Yeah, and any short term volatility, in fact, is the best time to approach using the question just now, value investing. The value will come up. You know, it's a $1 stock now selling at 50 cents. Go and grab it.
Right.
Do the dollar cost averaging.
Right.
Is it?
So the difference between, I think, value investing and technical analysis, in my opinion, is basically both of them are equally important because both of them are data driven. They are not
Yes.
rumors driven or tips or whatsoever. But the only difference is value investing is you can only find a value of a company if you understand the company's financials, the
Yes.
fundamentals of the company. Whereas technical analysis is more about analyzing price actions, price
Price,
movements,
yeah.
and to see, like Encik Nazari said, you can actually have a combination of both to have the best of both worlds.
Yeah.
Right, so you can confirm with one another.
Yes,
So that's
yes.
the main difference. And technical analysis is not just about trading short term. Technical analysis or price analysis, you can use it for multiple time frames, right?
Yeah,
Whether it's short term, some even use it for a 10-second trade,
yeah.
1 hour trade, and so on.
Okay, yeah. I like to add that. For us, it's like we are. I mean, in technical analysis, the default setting is on daily chart. Yeah, daily chart. In fact, to be very frank, I myself, I hardly looking at weekly chart, looking at monthly chart, not even a yearly chart. Yeah, but for a long-term perspective, yeah, we should be looking at the time frame of weekly chart or even monthly chart. Then our heart will not be pumping that much, you know. Otherwise,
So you
like
don't need to look at it every day. You need to look on a weekly basis or monthly basis.
for investing, again, like Benny mentioned, but then we start to change that time frame from daily chart to hourly chart. Not enough, we change it into 30 minutes chat.
Shorter and
And
shorter
then shorter until
you forget your objective.
yeah, forget objective about investing.
Right.
Okay. Yeah. So that's the difference.
Mm.
Now, next question. What's a good savings rate from your income? I mean, from the percentage that we need to have from income. Maybe you want to share first?
To me, this is quite a difficult answer. No, I mean, let's say what's the basic need of everyone's nowadays? Yeah, that we should start from there. Let's say if you say your income is what 1,500 for normal layman, 1,500. I think definitely that's not good enough. To because you will answer that, hey, this is not even
Yeah.
enough for to
How
take
do you
care.
think about even investing?
Then how to talk
I
about?
can't even eat.
I can't even. Well, you want me to eat what, roti canai every day or air kosong or whatever, yeah. So again, for that matter, before we go into investing or saving rate, whatever, to answer that, like Benny mentioned again just now, then you have to take care first on your income level. Somehow we have to increase our income level, yeah, increase our economy
Yep.
for that. But once we reach a certain level where we being able to pay our rental, our expenses, yeah, basic expenses, from there on, then we should be taking care about more towards investing. Otherwise, again, like you mentioned just now, the moment you have more, then you start thinking about, oh, this handphone, well, I need to upgrade. This is not an Apple. Apple should look nicer. This kind of stuff. Then difficult. Then the meaning you will never ever allow yourself to have extra income. I mean, extra money for saving. Yeah, but okay, that's my way of answering lah.
So I think it really depends on the individual themselves, right?
Yeah.
We really need to sit down, put it on paper, see how much you're getting, list down your expenses, try to minimize whatever that is unnecessary, and see how much can we save, right? And of course, the other way is to actually get more income. Right? And of course, you can improve yourself. I mean, everybody wants to improve themselves. Everybody wants to climb the corporate ladder. Everyone wants to make their business better so they get more income. Yes, please do that, right? You need to increase your income because, like I said, if you earn 1,500 ringgit a month and you try to minus until you cannot minus off, then please, then invest. You are probably has not ready for investment. But that being said, even if you can save, let's say 100 ringgit a month or 200 ringgit a month, I don't think so. It's difficult to save 200 ringgit a month. Because with 200 ringgit a month, you can actually buy one lot of a REIT, which is only about 1 ringgit plus, right? And it's only cost you 100 over ringgit. And you keep things small first, like we just mentioned earlier in our show, that sikit-sikit lama-lama jadi bukit, right? So, but we have to start somewhere. So, I mean, if you can save about 100 ringgit or even 200 ringgit a month, you can already start investing, right? But again, try to keep on cultivating this habit first so that when you get more income, then you know what to do.
Yeah,
right?
we are ready for it.
Yeah.
We are ready for the big time.
Yes. Yeah. So the more you invest, of course, the better it is. So try to save as much as possible.
Exactly.
So the percentage is up to you. If you want to save 40% of your income, well, if you can do it, why not? Of course, there are a lot of things you have to sacrifice, right? But you can sacrifice now for the benefit of later, right? Now, so among the choices here, the next question is, among the choices on Bursa, whether it's REITs and stocks and ETF, what is the best to start with? For me, I mean, it again depends on investors because, some stocks which are very good, for example, like Nestle, it's going to cost you 150 ringgit per share, and you buy one lot is 15,000 ringgit. So we may not want to start with that because we can always find counters that are really low in price and which are good, right? And the good thing about ETFs and REITs is because they are not individual stocks. So their fluctuation the volatility is not as high as individual stocks. Because one ETF, for example, is a basket of many stocks. So if that stock fell down aggressively, your ETF will not change that much, the whole fund itself. So if you are looking for less volatility, you don't want to go through the roller coaster ride, right? That is better to again start with ETFs or even REITs first. That's my opinion.
Okay, but I like to share on that. Yeah, for me to answer that, it has to be your age profile. My way to answer that question, is more of the age profile. If you are young, you have more time, you can take more risk. So probably your concern should be looking for growth investing kind of approach. Yeah, growth investing. So meaning look for companies that having a growth story, yeah, things like that. Because for older people like me who cannot probably absorb another crash, for example, yeah, so I probably go for safer investment product.
Investments.
For example, for REITs, because my thinking is more like to earn income, to earn dividends from this kind of investment, from this kind of REITs, whatever. But if you are young guys, read a lot, do research. You know, you have all the time, is it? To absorb the market's fluctuation and go for growth stocks.
Right.
Uh,
Right. Yeah. So yeah, again, it depends on whatever stage of life you are in. But like I said, if you are young, time is a precious commodity, lah. You know, you have a lot of time to actually play around and start investing. And if you start small, you know, you will be surprised at, even if you are starting investing small now, you'll be surprised 10 years or 20 years later, that small investment that you do can go a long way.
yes.
Right. Now the next question. So we're going to take some more questions here. Now, from your point of view, what is the reasonable return for a retail investor in a local market instead of putting money into FDs? Now, FD is providing you about 3 to 4% returns per annum. But I've shown you the figures. Although we see our inflation rate is 3%, you know, about 3 to 5%, 3 to 3.5%. But we all know in the real world, I don't think so. It's 3.5% in a year, because I showed you the fact earlier that, you know, the money supply coming into the market is about 7% per annum. So that means our money is being diluted 7% a year. So if you ask me, I have to find an investment which has to be at least more than 7%. Right? Anything below it, then I would not consider an investment.
Yeah.
Right? And the reason why we invest in the stock market is because stock market is able to provide that kind of returns. Not FDs. Even if you buy unit trust, they will not be able to provide the kind of returns. But if you know how to do it in the stock market yourself, there is a possibility.
Yeah. Okay. Again, to answer that, it's as simple as that will be the benchmark. You know, the return that we have from savings, from saving account, from the bank's account, whatever, will be the benchmark. Meaning, obviously, the answer is we are not going to expect to get a return of less than that if we invest in the stock market. Is it? And to get just like 1 or 2% more, also to me is not good enough. Yeah, probably I don't know if you want to have a figure. I would love to say, well, have to be above what, above 12%, between at least conservatively. My target is 12 to 15% a year if I invest in stock market.
Right.
That's the kind of return that I should expect. If I want to try more luck or whatever, so I have to take more risk. Yeah, but risk reward ratio will be there. The higher the risk that we take,
The higher returns.
the higher the return. I mean risk return lah. So I mean don't be surprised, and everybody should know the fact that, well, I mean we can even earn what, 100% or 50% in one day.
In 1 year.
I mean, not to talk about 1 year. I mean, of course, 1 year. I mean, still, let's say one day. That's extreme. That's a bit extreme, yeah. I mean, you just hit the right counter at the right time, it move up so much more.
Right.
But okay, that's put aside. But at least on the investing is always about, to me, a year period, isn't it? Because the moment we mentioned about banks, the return is we were mentioning about 1 year return, isn't it?
Fixed deposit is only, it's a yearly return.
Yearly return.
3.5%. You put in a savings, you don't get anything lah.
Is it? So it should be on that 1 year basis. Yeah. So for 1 year, there's a lot of good stocks that can provide us with return which is definitely more than the FD rate or whatever.
I think the answer, the other question is basically someone is asking about what kind of returns that you can expect from the stock market. And it really depends on your skills, actually. If you are someone who can't take big risks, please don't go for high risk stocks, although they can provide high risk returns, because you have to know yourself, right? And it also takes, you also need very good skills, right, to manage your money in trying to find this kind of counters that you mentioned, right? Go up 100% a month or a week or a day.
Not easy, not easy.
But we can also, remember, we can also lose that amount of money in the same period of time. So you need to be really skillful, right? And for the start, I would not advise to use this kind of skills yet, but you can continue to educate yourself. Once you are ready for that kind of risk, once you have additional money, then you probably can start, trading in a very short time period and try to get high returns. But you have to get a very particular skill.
So let's say conservatively, we can answer. We can still expect to earn what 20-25%, a year from the stock market. That is not very stressful. We are not overstretched ourselves. Yeah.
In fact, I actually did a simulation. I did present in one of the Securities Commission events, I think about a few years ago, where we did the dollar cost averaging, because I put down the data. If you just buy a counter, I was giving examples. Good companies like Tenaga, Telecom, these are all government companies, and they are monopoly basically, and they will not die. So if we invest, let's say every single month with the same money, over the period of 5 years, you can easily get a return of 10%.
Oh, okay.
Without thinking that much, right? Just when you get your salary, force yourself to invest every single month, you can get 10% in 5 years. Now, if you put in 10 years, you probably easily can get about 13 to 15%, right? So that is by not doing anything, right? Just dollar cost averaging. Now, imagine if you just learn an extra skill, like maybe using charts, or try to identify using some investing methods, you can easily increase, like you said, 20-30% conservatively, right? But like I said, you have to start somewhere, right?
And have to have the skill.
There are still a few more questions, but I'm going to take one or two more. Right. Now, the next question here is, how do you know whether the stock is risky?
Okay, I mean, to me, as simple as this. If we are buying a stock which have no fundamental, definitely that stock belong to a very risky stock. And especially if the price just move up, shoot up, without fundamentals, without the support of fundamentals. Fundamental, just a simple meaning that the company doesn't make money. The company is losing money, and the share price just move up. That's very risky.
Right.
That's very risky.
Price move without fundamentals.
Without fundamentals, without the backing of fundamentals.
So that's why it's better to have actually fundamentals and technical together and see whether
together,
one another.
Yes.
Right. Now, one last question, right? Now, can investing work as business income to us as employees? Okay, what is the best to start off with? So I already give you an example, the steps I given to you earlier. When we work, we call this active income. That means the moment we stop working, we will not be able to get that income. So we really need to build a second income, a passive income where you don't need to work, but the income comes in. So you will not be able to start immediately building that, but you can slowly build it as we go, right? And it's like I say, if you have the habit of having that savings, the forced saving every year, and you basically fund this second income, right? And maybe down 20 or 30 years down the road, your passive income here will be able to sustain your lifestyle without doing anything. I just give you a very simple example. If you are able to make, let's say, 15% a year, right? And if, let's say, you have already saved ₦1,000,000 20 years down the road, and I don't think so is important, because I think everybody's going to be a millionaire today. When you buy a house, you're probably going to be a millionaire 20, 30 years down the road. But so you have to use that kind of investment philosophy on stocks as well. Now imagine if you already have ₦1,000,000 and you are making 15% a year. That is already giving you ringgit 150,000 a year without doing anything, right? But you don't have that 1 million now. But if you start saving until long term, maybe down 20 years down the road, and if you are able to save more, your journey will become shorter, getting that financial freedom, the passive income that you want.
Okay.
So that's where I think. So I think it's not that once we stop working, then you start to become an investor. I think it has to go hand in hand, right? Even for business owners.
I love that question. It's about that guy is working, and then he said, looking that as a business income. Yeah. Okay. Then we add to what Warren Buffett used to say: treat investment as your business. You are actually investing in a business. You're not just buying stock. You know.
You're not buying paper.
You're not buying paper. You're actually investing in a business. So we become the shareholder. We become part of the business. Actually, that's to answer the question. So investing is actually having our own business.
Yes.
I'm part of the business. You know, I'm the shareholder.
Yes.
And then, so what do you expect? The company to grow. So the share price will grow together. Is it?
So I think that's what
so the
people tend to
concept.
forget, right?
They tend to forget
you are
that.
actually
You are
a shareholder.
a shareholder. You are a business person.
owner.
You are a business owner.
Right? You are a
Actually,
business
yeah.
owner. So if I have 5 companies, at least now I don't have one business, but I have 5 businesses
Yeah.
in the portfolio. So
How
yes,
nice, huh? How nice.
yeah.
Huh?
So you have to start somewhere, right? So that's the reason why you
uh,
have to go hand in hand, right? Because active income you can only receive active income as long as we are able to work. Because the moment we stop working, that's it. You know, you will not have any more income, and if you don't have enough passive income that comes to support you, then it's going to be very difficult to live. Right?
Okay, put it this way. Again, when I mention this counter, for example, I'm not saying that we should be buying it after this. Yeah. So, example, we walk into 7-Eleven. Yeah. And if we are the shareholder, if we have the shares, right? The thinking is actually this is my business.
Yes.
You see, please come into my, to my shop. Can we think that way?
Yes.
You should be thinking that way.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you very much. Everyone is, I mean, now it's very hot.
Yeah.
Everyone is switching on their aircon from morning to night, whatever. Thank you very much. I'm the owner of the business.
Thank
Why?
you for using.
Yeah. Why? Because I'm the shareholder
Yes.
of TNB. Yeah, that's a very good question. So think about a business person. Think about you are the business owner. So from now onward, for everyone out there, start to think about investing. Is not just about investing for that matter. It's about I want to be the business owner of TNB, of 7-Eleven, of Maxi, so whatever, or even now, good. You go to Kedai Mama, one Milo, one Maggie. Oh, good, because I'm
You're the owner.
I'm the owner. Go ahead.
So like I said, you have to change that mindset, right?
Mindset,
you don't want to mine shares anymore.
no.
You don't play anymore, right? You have to treat, like you just mentioned, you have to treat investing like a business. Because it is a business.
It is a business.
Right. So yeah, thank you very much. I think this is all the time that we have for this webinar. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something today that you can apply almost immediately. Please do the step 1 if you have not started investing. Put in your income, your expenses, and make sure you're able to force save for investments and follow the following steps. You are able to download the slides because it's already available on the software. You can download the handouts later on. And I also want to mention to you that our next webinar is going to be on the 29th of August, same day, same time. And we're going to go more details about Shariah investment. This is where we're going to show you the performance of Shariah investment funds, the benefits of being, investing in Shariah-compliant shares. We will give you the facts and figures. And Encik Nazari will be joining us again in the next 2 weeks, in 2 weeks' time.
Inshallah.
Right? So please, you can register yourself. We will send you an email. So please also invite your friends if you find that this session is useful to you, because the more people knows about it, the better we as Malaysians will become.
Yeah.
Right. So thank you very much. Thank you, Encik Nazari, for joining us.